Well guys, welcome back to the channel. Never too old. I'm here with my beautiful assistant, who's, God love him, sacrificing his time once more. He's a very happy teddy bear today because only, what is it, 3 hours ago? Yeah, he passed his driving test. Woohoo! So he's celebrating by helping me. God love him. So this is the long awaited video that everyone wants to see, is the elevated bed. What we're going to do now is get cracking on with cutting some wood. We've got the measurements we need and we're just going to start forming the bed frame. So let's get on with that. So yes, nature has beat us and it's now too dark outside to work, so we have brought everything into the kitchen. Thank God we have a reasonably sized kitchen, which is now more like a workshop. And we're going to crack on and get these middle struts in and positioned.
I'm better doing a pilot hole for this one.
I don't know.
We're about to find out.
Yeah, just... Down through. What would I do without you, hey? Wait.
Struggle.
Nice. Yeah. Right, now the pole should fit in its entirety. Show the fairies as I smash the glasses covered with the aluminium pole. Okay.
Definitely running the brackets, like.
Yeah.
I don't think you need the brackets.
So, what we have is a pillow bearing, which is why we have these double sections. So we're going to put our aluminium pole through the pillow bearing. I don't have the bolts for it right now, and it's crawling on to 9 o'clock, so we're probably going to knock this on the head pretty soon anyway. But we're going to put it in and we'll see what it looks like. Yeah. So that's where we are so far. We have our 2 pillow bearings on. The hole in the top for the motor. Yeah, it's very flipping heavy. This is the thing that I got from America. See, I think we're going to have to cut that. Maybe because that's not flush. I think we're going to have to. I think I got my aluminium pole is a bit too long, and I'm going to take a wee snib off about yay much. Because if I move that, that's how that is supposed to be sitting right now. Flush with the wood at the top, and it's not. So I'm going to need to take off, maybe just take off 1 inch, and then that will sit properly where it's supposed to. But so far so good, and I'm thoroughly pleased, and thank you Charlie so much, because you know this would have taken me about 3 days rather than, how long have we now been at it now? 5
hours.
So yeah, I think we're going to call it a night. I think we'll go call it a night and get cracking back tomorrow. So before we crack on with what we're going to be doing, I wanted to show you some of the components that I'll be using with this build. So you've seen the pillow bearings. These are to hold our aluminium pole in place, as well as to turn when the motor turns it. I have 4 bolts each, so all the bolts that you see did not come with the equipment that I bought. I went up to my local hardware store, Shilladay's, up in Castlewellan. Brilliant guys up there, always very helpful and take their time to go through what you need. I actually took up some of my equipment today and we got it all sorted. So yeah, I'm just so lucky to have them not that far away from where we are. So these are all with locking nuts, washer. They'll be obviously positioned in there and holding the pole securely. These are my anchor points. These are the things that are going to attach to the actual van. So how I'm going to work it is the anchor point, the washer on the other side of the metal, then I'm going to have it, and then these really flipping good strong bolts to hold it in place, again with locking nuts. I have some steel plates that is going to sandwich the webbing. Once the webbing is through here, we're going to have a sandwich at the bottom, sorry, not at the bottom, just underneath, to hold the webbing in place. Let's move over to the motor. Again, I didn't have bolts. Well, the bolts, no, that's a lie, that's a fib. There were bolts that came with the motor, but obviously because I'm going through 3/4 of an inch of timber, and ordinarily if you were fitting a dumper truck motor, which is what this is, you would probably just be going through a piece of metal plating. I had to go and get longer bolts. Again, really good strong bolts to hold the motor in. Where are we now? You know about the aluminium pole. I'm going to have to cut off 1 inch of that. And then what you might have noticed yesterday when I was showing you is the aluminium pole is a little bit smaller than my motor. I bought reducing collars. So how this is going to work is this reducing collar attaches to this, making this, which I'm going to get this wrong, and if I do, I'll just put the right things on the this is 5/8, and I think the motor is 3/4, or the other way around, I can't remember. I'll put it in the description probably. This sits on here, making it a little bit thicker. This sits on here, so this adds, I don't know how many millimeters. This then fits on here, like so. I always dread this because once I get in I can't get it out. And then my motor, which is like really heavy, slides in like so. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to drill through this collar into this drill hole, because obviously the wood is going to take up this hole. The 3/4 of an inch of wood is going to take up this hole. So I will be drilling through this collar to attach this collar to the main shaft, and then I will be drilling through, which I'm not looking forward to, this collar, and this aluminium pole, and a bolt will be going there. Now I haven't got the bolts for that today because I just know I'm not going to get around to getting that done today. I definitely miss Charlie and his height. I've gone down a size to see if the bolt will still go through. I think it will. Just need to make sure I get these super central so that they fit. That's a bit tighter. I think maybe I like the idea of it being just a bit tighter rather than just as loose, so I'm going to stick with that one. I know it's a bolt, and you know, and it's got a thread on it and what have you, but yeah, I'm going to stick with that size. So that's an 8. I'm using an 8 drill bit. This would be helpful if I wasn't blind, do you know? Alright, before I do the next before I do the next lot, let's just check this out. Okay, yep. I'm happy enough with that. Okay, so that's that done. I'm going to just give that a quick file with a metal file. So that should be plenty off for everything to fit in the way it should. I've had to set the bed up on the counter space and to the island because I'm trying to figure out how the bloody hell I'm going to mark the holes for this motor. So I was thinking if I had it on the table, then I could push it in as flush as I could and then get something to sit underneath here. So if I hold that in, if I can hold that in that position while at the same time drawing a little circle around these. I'm getting to this one. Ooh, just about. Because the bolt heads are a similar size to that, I can pretty much just draw around them. Right, so I'm sure you can imagine how long that just really well took. So those bolts are going to hold her in well and proper, and she'll also be held in by the aluminium pole that she will be attached to. I might put a washer on those bolts on the inside because it's against the timber. I just, maybe, might be a better idea. But there you go. Right, now for the part I've been dreading the most. I've got to drill a hole into this section and through this section so it'll fit on the shaft of the motor. So this didn't misshape, I've put that collar onto the smaller collar and the smaller collar onto the aluminium pipe Obviously it's not this far down, so I'm not going to drill into that bit. But I just, with me tightening the vise, I didn't want it to misshapen, so I was like, right, if I have it all on there, it should stay still stay circular. Right. Okay, so that is our collars on, holes drilled, attached very securely by probably longer bolts than necessary, but yeah, they're in there anyway. And yes, I'm not going nuts. This is day 4. Yesterday was taken up breaking drill bits, bending drill bits out, because I didn't have any knowledge whatsoever on drilling hard steel. So 3 top tips. 1, get yourself good quality HSS cobalt, if possible, drill bits. 2, make sure you use lubricant oil, which I didn't. And 3, go slower. I was hammering on, which was only blunting my drill bits out far quicker, which didn't help me at all. So yesterday I spent a long time, let's pan out there a wee bit, long time messing about. Last night I was flying down to B&Q to get more bits, and then it's taken me another couple of hours this morning, today, not this morning, to get that done. Okay. Onward and upward. Okay, that is the anchors in the van. Pain in the butt of a job. Had to strip the entire walls off both to get the spanner in at the back, but yeah, got there in the end. I could have shown you me putting them in. I'm sure it's not rocket science. You drill a hole. I fed the nut through from the back to the front because it was just easier for me to do that, with hold the spanner at the back and then twist it this way. I may or may not angle grind them off yet. Now on to the webbing. I got this from an actual industrial place that sells the proper stuff. This is not your 20 quid webbing from Amazon. I just didn't want to trust it. It's 1.5 inches thick. It is seat belt material. I can't remember the name of it. So what I'm going to now do is thread this webbing through the anchor points and then bring the bed in here, and then we're going to see where we are on cutting my gaps in the wood. Alright, so that's about what we're looking at the minute. That's the bed in and the straps. And the straps coming down. So what I want to do is mark where the webbing is on the side of the wood, so I can cut my holes in the side, and also mark where the webbing will be on the pole, so I know where I'm attaching my strap, which I'll show you in a minute. By the way, super pleased with how everything has turned out so far. Really super pleased. It's been hard work, and yes, like I said before, I don't know what bloody day of the week it is, but it'll be worth it in the end. we're 3/4 of the way there. I did actually mean to show you all of this stuff before I put it back in the van and forgot, but anyway. This is what I have on all 4 points. I have these straps upside down, bolted in front and back, and then these straps are holding it against the wood to make sure that it goes straight up. The hole that I have cut in this wood here, I have made sure that this buckle is below the hole. I'll show you it from this side, might be easier to see. Should have done this when I was outside, but never mind. So you can see it more clearly there. So the reason I have done that is so that the wood, sorry, the strap doesn't rub on the wood and, you know, cause chafing. So it's now on the smooth metal. Now we have our webbing through the straps. So all that is left to do now is wire up the motor to the solenoid, and then the solenoid to the rocker switch. So yeah, let's get on with that. Okay, so I have the motor wired up in this tangle of mess to the solenoid. I also have the rocker switch wired up. If you want me to do a video on that, yeah, ask me to do a video on it, and I'll do a video, because obviously I'm exhausted. It's getting dark, and this whole mess here has just taken me flipping ages. So specifics, if you want specifics, I'll do specifics, but for now, let's see if she works. Okay guys, I have tested it, so I know it works, but I haven't brought it all the way up and all the way down again. So me with all the live wires here, thank god it's only 12 volt, hey. So up she goes. Woo, that's very fast. That's a proper good motor, that is. Now fair enough, it doesn't have the planks of wood on the top, and it doesn't have Trevor's clapping in the background. That's why the van's bouncing, just in case you wonder. It doesn't have the planks of wood on it, it doesn't have the mattress on it, but still, that's a dumper truck motor, so it's pretty darn strong. So, and down again. Woo! That's very fast. We're gonna have to be really careful to bringing that up and down. That's like super fast. And yeah, once I get the because where we stuck over here, it's because I have the seat belts tied to the bench rather than where they should be tied to. There we are. Brute force neck lines. To say I'm delighted would be the understatement of the century. Absolutely thrilled to bits. It's been, like, I didn't actually think I'd get it done in such a quick time, so I'm really, really happy. And yeah, I don't want this video to be any longer than it has to be, so that's probably me done. I'm just going to sit here and play with my toy. If I pull this toward me a little bit. Whoa. Woo! And we're going to get Trevor a little trampoline so he can bounce into bed every night. Cracking his head on the ceiling as he goes. There's a 40-watt amp in the fuse box for anyone who wants to know. And I'll put a list of everything I've bought and where I got it from, if I can, in the description box below. See the lights? The lights are dimming. The lights are dimming because of how much we're using. I've done it. Right guys, I'm done. I'm tired. I'm thirsty. I'm hungry. I'm freezing cold. I need alcohol. It's Saturday night.
It's Friday night. It's Cracker Jack.
I'm too young to know what that means.
Yes, you do.
I'm not. I don't know what that is.
Anyway.
I'm still too young. So, thanks for watching. I hope this was helpful. Hope this was informative. Just to know that you can do it yourself. I now have to put the bloody van back together. But, yeah. Super pleased. Super pleased. Yeah. So, give us a like, a subscribe, leave a comment in the comment section below and say hello and ask questions if you have any. I will do my utmost to answer them, and always remember, you're never too old. Bye.